Okay guys, welcome back. It is the beast from the east. It is here, Al.
Yeah.
It is freezing.
It is so cold.
I'm keeping my hat on. And England got a beasting up north this weekend.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty poor.
Shall we go? Let's start with Scotland.
Yep.
Because I generally think they deserve so much credit, because that's got to be one of the best Scottish performances of all time.
I think so.
Time.
But again, it leaves you with that sense of frustration, because why do they play like that against England?
If you were a Scotland fan.
And play so badly against Wales the first game. I think there was so much hype in that first game, it's a little bit of pressure. But Finn Russell was world class against England.
Yeah.
His composure, his time on the ball, execution of skills.
As we said last week, he had a point to prove. It was do or die for him. He had to show that he wasn't flaky, he could do it, and he can do it. And Scotland can play unbelievable rugby, which is what we thought at the beginning of the championship. In the preview show, we had Scotland down as third, and after the first two games, everyone's going crazy. But they actually are third now, and amazingly, they're still in the shout of winning the Six Nations.
And I think the thing for me that most impressed was they bossed England up front. I thought scrummage time, I thought England would have massively the upper hand in terms of size, weight, scrummaging ability. Scotland were rock solid all game.
Do you know what? Scrums have been not much of an issue this championship. We thought scrums would be a bit of an issue for certain teams, but I think the combination of obviously everyone working on it really hard, hookers having to hook for the ball, and also referees wanting the ball out of the scrum has meant scrums are actually less of an issue, which I like, because it's more just about the rugby.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's more ball in play time, isn't it?
More ball in play, yeah. I mean, the massive thing for me, Al, I'll go into it now. Scotland's tactics were just perfect. England were woeful. I mean, they were off it. We'll talk psychology a bit later, but you know, England defend narrow. Okay, their line speed was actually quite good, but they defend narrow, and their wingers come up flat. Okay, they don't hang back and drift. They come up flat and try and close off the door. So Scotland went wide early, dry conditions, perfect execution. You're always going to make hay around the side of England. So straight away they're in trouble, and then you've got a player like Hugh Jones, and when you're worried about a team going wide, he can hit lines on the inside shoulder, and my God, he hit some good lines.
But again, it comes back to he's perfect for Scotland at 13. They play all their good rugby through him. And I think they're lucky in some sense that he's come along now, because Stuart Hogg doesn't look...
Oh, he looks sharp, he looks fine.
He still looks fine, but they're so lucky they've got that extra person to rely on, rather than just being reliant on
he's
Hogg.
the best 13 in the championship by a mile. He's player of the tournament so far as well.
100%.
You know, we were waxing lyrical about him at the beginning of the Six Nations in the preview show, and it's great to see over the last two games he's just shown, you know, he is that player we thought he was.
And I think against England, Jonathan Joseph is very good defensively at 13, and I think he made him look second rate for vast portions of that game.
I mean, because Scotland were making inroads out wide, as soon as Joseph starts drifting a little early or moving a bit early, Hugh Jones cuts that killer line and just goes straight through. And the strength and the speed and the power of Hugh Jones as well. Just can't say enough.
I've got one issue.
Go on.
The refereeing.
Go on, tell me about the referees, because it's not something I don't tend to pay attention to the referees, just because there's nothing you can do about it, and they don't register in my mind for some reason.
For me, Nigel Owens is the best referee in the world.
Is he on reputation, or just he is?
I think he is the best referee in the world, in my opinion. But I thought he was incredibly inconsistent with penalties at the breakdown. For Scotland, the penalties that they were being given for turning the ball over were very quick. It was hands-on, penalty given. You see Rob Shaw on numerous occasions, over the ball, strong, 4 seconds have gone, and then he tells him to release.
Keep going, I'm just going to get a stat up here, keep going now.
And I just think there needs to be greater consistency in how they're refereeing the breakdown.
This is true, but England still got 13 turnovers off Scotland. He was giving penalties for turnovers.
It just seemed to be the pace of the way those penalties were being given, I think sometimes. For Scotland it was very much, you're in over the ball, you're not released, penalty.
I'm sure you're probably right, but every time he gave a penalty for Scotland for England holding on. I couldn't really argue that England were holding on, but the timing may be.
Yeah.
I didn't have any moments where I thought that's an awful decision.
No. I think it was just that there were a few of them that stacked up in relatively short succession.
Possibly.
But John Barkley and Hamish Watson were incredible at breakdown time. So again,
tactically, I just want to talk about how England's attack play made them vulnerable to being off psychologically. So that's a long way of saying England in the first half were completely off psychologically. Okay, they were complacent. They didn't mean to be complacent, but they clearly weren't as hungry as Scotland. Scotland were, absolutely ravenous for this win. Okay, they wanted it so bad. England wanted it, but not to the degree Scotland did. Okay. And the way England attack is, if you watch them, it's very hard to pin down where their pods of forwards are, because they only have a few set forwards and then they have floaters. I mean, please comment below how you would describe England's forward system. For me, yes, they know where they're going, but they have quite a lot of forwards who are free because England want to attack very unpredictably. They need forwards who can react to different situations. Rather than a side like Ireland possibly, who their forwards are a bit more dictated where they are, hence they keep possession a lot better.
But it means that they go in ones and twos, doesn't it? And then it plays into that Scottish game plan of isolate that one guy, over the ball, turnover.
England have won the stack of their games because they're so on it, those support players are there quick enough to generate quick ball. Being slightly off it psychologically means they're just not there quite quick enough because they're not starting together. And it just shows how that sort of game plan falls down unless you're absolutely on your game.
And I'm not convinced with the balance in the back row that England have got at the moment. I don't think Nathan Hughes looked way off the pace in the first half.
He was feeling his way in. He was feeling his way in.
I think at the moment, because they're lacking in number 8 options, I would start the next game with the back row that finished. I would go Courtney Laws, Rob Shaw at 8, Underhill at 7. Underhill made a massive difference.
Underhill he got a yellow card, deservedly so, but he was awesome up until that point. Huge difference.
I think if he'd stayed on, England would have been in with a shout of coming back into that game.
It was always tight because Scotland was so good. They were ahead, 16 points at the break or something. To come back from that against a top quality team is a push. Scotland kept playing great throughout the game. England, to be fair, came right back into that game. They started the second half how they should the first half. I think we should just go back to Scotland again, just to finish up there because they were so good. I'd say Scotland now, they've got 2 wins. Okay. Yes, they've got to go away to Ireland now, which is going to be harder. Ireland and England, similar standard, but it's away. Okay. So can they reproduce that sort of performance, that sort of level of emotional intensity?
I'm not convinced.
Well, we don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, was Scotland's performance mainly down to the fact that they had invested emotionally more than they could do normally?
Maybe.
Or are they capable of that sort of performance on a regular basis?
I mean, it's interesting watching all the preamble, and they treat the England game as a cup final. They treat it as a one-off. It's irrelevant that it's part of the Six Nations. That is the one game out of the tournament they want to win. And you can see that.
Everyone likes beating England. Stick it to them. England probably needed a bit of a humbling. And they got it in buckets, to be honest.
And I think in the past, England have always had that ability under Eddie Jones to play poorly and still find a way to win. Whereas they were
but not that poorly.
they had no answers for anything Scotland were throwing.
Absolutely. Scotland were unbelievable in that first half. Their execution was brilliant. England was slightly off it, but goodness me, didn't they take advantage? Okay, guys, just a few more points on England here. I think personnel-wise, you could definitely argue Hughes maybe shouldn't have been playing, but I think it was a collective psychology that was the problem here. Not the fact, yes, England were unbalanced in the back row, etc., but they have been for a couple of years. So I don't think that was the issue. I think it was just the fact they were complacent.
I think it's one of those, isn't it, that although they're unbalanced in the back row normally, you'll still get a good 60, 70 minutes out of Billy Vunipola, out of Nathan Hughes fully fit. Whereas to get, I mean, arguably you didn't really get 30 minutes out of him at the weekend.
No. I think everyone was slightly off. There was only one player, I wonder if you can guess, there was one player in the England team who I thought was desperate to win that game from the off, actually from the tunnel. Farrell had this fight in the tunnel, whatever it was. I'm not condoning it, but he wanted to win. His kicking was great. He was always first up in the defensive line. I don't know if you noticed. His line for the try was brilliant. Okay, so he was the one guy I thought who got away with some decent credit in that first half.
Well, and so did Chris Robshaw as well. I think he's been under the radar. He's done all the stuff he needs to do. He's a bit of a He's coming to a bit of a workhorse, I think. And he's been immense this championship so far.
But I think the question for England is, do they question their attacking strategy, or do they say it didn't work because psychologically we were off? Or do we need to create some more solid pods to guarantee we win the ball? Because opposition teams may think if we get over this pill, compete at the breakdown more than normal, because modern teams spread out quite quick, we're going to have a lot of joy. If it's dry, do we go wide straight away? Because England are always narrow.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think the going in ones and twos didn't work against Scotland, and because it didn't work against Scotland, teams will isolate that. And they will really go to town on England, especially Ireland in the last game. They'll definitely go to town on that.
I would say not to change, because it's clearly worked a lot in the past. They just know they have to be so on the ball to make it work. So, I don't know, is it sustainable? Comment below, do England need to change their tactics? I don't know. But anyway, look, England are still actually in with a chance here. They're still the second best team in the championship. Ireland still clearly the favourites. But if England, come back hard against France, let's say get a bonus point win, then maybe it'll come down to Ireland. I don't know.
It'd be interesting because actually the French looked strong on Friday night. Bastareaud makes an enormous difference.
Everyone's looked strong against Italy, though. That's the problem.
They do. But I mean, Bastareaud coming back in just seemed to galvanise them together a bit more, and everything comes off him. So Jonathan Joseph, if he's at 13, is going to have a bit of a torrid afternoon, I think. Possibly so.
Anyway, comments about England, comments about Scotland. Was that the best Scotland performance you've ever seen? It's probably the best I've ever seen. Hugh Jones, player of the tournament so far. England, are they down and out? Can they come back? Do they need to change their tactics? And comment on players, because I didn't really look at individual players too much in this game, because it was just so fascinating tactically. Who played well? Who played poorly? Was it a collective problem for England, or was it just a handful of players who were woeful? Let us know your thoughts. Cool, okay, until next time guys, we will see you then. Goodbye.